defending champions, Rangers International may have surrendered the title, but the continental spot is still inside. Heartland of Owerri, immersed in relegation waters, the Flying Antelopes and the Nazi Millionaires take it all on Sunday at the Cathedral, the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium in Enugu. Who bounds to who? Catch all the action, the thrills, and the drama only on Radio Nigeria. Yes, Radio Nigeria will be bringing match to you live this Sunday at 3 p.m. Nigerian time. The power of derby and the do-or-die aspirations make it a match you don't want to miss. FRCN Sports, connected through sports, uniting the nation.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
Thanks for staying with us. As we earlier reported, Christians have been called upon to always stand firm in truth as the body of Christ, even in the face of persecution. This is a message from some clergies in Port Harcourt on the commemoration of Palm Sunday. Clementina Eki brings us details.
Palm Sunday marks the beginning of the Holy Week in Christendom. On this day, churches distribute palm fronds, reenacting the homage of Christ's royalty as he rode on a donkey triumphantly into Jerusalem, and crowds followed him waving their palm fronds and shouting, "Hosanna to the Son of David." A clergy, Reverend Father Francis Onorede, stated that the triumphant entry of Jesus into Jerusalem symbolizes humility, peace, and the fulfillment of prophecy.
In the celebration of Palm Sunday, we see Jesus as King and the Messiah who would come to sacrifice himself in order to redeem us, to reconcile us back to the Father. The significance of Palm Sunday is a symbol of royalty. It's a symbol of the triumph of Jesus.
An Anglican clergy, Mrs. Constance Egoagu and Miss Miriam Washuku, emphasized that Christians should learn from the life of Christ by living a holy and faithful life.
Today is a very remarkable day for the Christians because it's a day Jesus Christ trying to prepare himself for his death. And you know what the death signifies. The death, he came to pay for our sins.
The same people who were shouting, "Hosanna, Hosanna," recognizing his kingship, they are the same people who turned on his crucifixion day to shout, "Crucify him, crucify him." Whatever opportunity you have to show people love, show it, not minding what comes after it. That is what Christ actually portrays there.
This day remains a profound moment of faith and devotion for believers worldwide. Therefore, Christians should reflect on Jesus' sacrifices and patience. In Port Harcourt, Clementina Eki, Radio Nigeria.
Meanwhile, the Holy Week, also known as Passion Week, is an important period in the Christian calendar, which commemorates the last week of Jesus Christ's life, leading up to his crucifixion and resurrection. It is a time for Christians to reflect on their faith, relationship with God, and fellow human beings. In this special report, Uzo Egwu examines the significance of Holy Week in Christendom.
Holy Week is the week preceding Easter and the final week of Lent. During the week, Christians all over the globe recall the events leading to the death of Jesus Christ on the cross of Calvary. The week begins with the Palm or Passion Sunday, which commemorates Jesus' entry into Jerusalem, and ends with the Holy Saturday, the day before Easter Sunday. Events during the Holy Week include Holy Thursday, Good Friday, and Holy Saturday, which together are referred to as the Triduum in the Catholic liturgy. During the Holy Week, Christians, through the events of the week, embark on a spiritual journey with Jesus Christ, his persecution, crucifixion, and death in reparation for the sins of man. Thus, while the Holy Week is solemn and a reminder of the passion of Jesus Christ, it heralds the joy of Easter. Speaking on the significance of the week, the Archbishop of the Methodist Church Nigeria, Ebonyi Archdiocese, Most Reverend Chipando Oganigwe, explained that during the Holy Week, believers have the opportunity to reflect on the huge sacrifice Jesus Christ made to reconcile man to God.
The Holy Week principally Basically, it's a time for meditation and prayers, reflecting on those events that Jesus Christ passed through. And the essence of that reflection is to not only to identify with the experience of our Lord Jesus Christ, but also to build our faith. And so when we partake in those activities, it gives us opportunity to be connected with the salvific plan of God.
The Anglican Bishop of Abakaliki Diocese, Right Reverend Monday Nkwego, noted that without the events that occurred in the week, salvation would have eluded mankind.
Without that Holy Week, I don't think we have anything to do with salvation, not because without this Holy Week, Jesus wouldn't have died for us, we would have suffered for our sins. We have nothing like resurrection.
A Catholic clergy, Reverend Father Massa Ezenwa, said that the week provides an opportunity for Christians who had not participated actively in the Lenten period to partake in the Passion of Christ in order to share in the joy of his resurrection.
It is the last week of Lent. So those who have not participated from the beginning of Lent, they try to be part of the celebration. So the celebration of the Holy Week draws a large crowd.
A Presbyterian clergy, Very Reverend Henry Agara, explained that the week is called holy because it is the period Jesus fulfilled the reasons for which he came to earth.
It's called Holy Week because our God is a holy God, and that week has been set aside mainly to remember what our Lord Jesus Christ did for us at the cross of Calvary. Without the shedding of blood of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, there will be no redemption.
Very Reverend Agara admonished Christians to strive to reciprocate God's love by living righteously. In Abakaliki, Uzo, Egu, Radio Nigeria.
And now to other stories. The Kebbi State government is set to celebrate the 2025 Uhola Cultural Festival by the Zulu Emirate Council of the state. The Uhola Festival, which is an age-long celebration by the Zulu Emirates, comes after a harvest season, and it is aimed at expressing gratitude to God for a successful harvest and protection against adverse diseases. Speaking to journalists on the preparation of the festival at a media briefing in Abuja, the chairman organizing committee, Lieutenant General Ishaya Bami, retired, explained that the Uhola Festival is recognized as the largest cultural tourism attraction in the northwestern Nigeria and has received the endorsement of the National Tourism Development Authority, NTDA.
Traditional festival in Zululand. We celebrate this Uhola once in a year, but then before the Uhola itself, there are many ceremonies that come up with it. We have the Adato. Initiation of young men, I think between 8 and 10 comes in first, and that is to prepare our young men for hardship in life, bravery and the rest of it. And it is not everybody that goes there, it is done by age groups. After all this, we now come together to thank God for protection, good harvest, good health. That is the ultimate festival in Zululand, which has now been recognized by the Tourism Center as part of national festival now.
Lieutenant General Ishaya Bami, retired, explained that a festival which unites people in the Zulu Emirates has activities like the Yadato Carnival, traditional wrestling, golem display, cultural dances, archery contests, visit to tourist sites, auto sport rallies, and agricultural exhibitions.
We have all of our cultural things. We have wrestling, we have Yadato itself. Yadato is now for those women who are prepared to go into marriage. We have agricultural show, we have lectures, we have display on this motorcycle, a lot of activities, and then of course combination of march past by all people involved. The whole life involves so many ethnic programs.
Festival, which is known for fostering unity and promoting hospitality towards visitors, has other tribes such as Yoruba, Igbo, Tiv, Urobo, and other communities taking part in the cultural parade. A former Nigerian ambassador to Argentina, Chile, Peru, and Uruguay, Chive Cave, has urged the federal government to introduce more measures that will curtail insecurity, particularly the farmer-herder conflict in the country. The former ambassador stated this at a peace summit in Abuja. Ambassador Chive Kabe explained that other countries around the world with more cattle and farmlands than Nigeria do not experience farmer-herder conflicts. He therefore called for improved farming and cattle rearing systems that will encourage ranching as it is done in other parts of the world.
Benue State is not antagonistic to anybody. Actually, we are a victim of poverty, marginalization, and a victim of serious neglect by government, present and past. So the way forward is, let us run a government of inclusiveness.
A traditional leader of Tiv community in Taraba State, Terbali, David Ba Tella, who is also chairman, Council of Tiv Traditional Rulers, called for synergy between government at all levels to check insecurity and apprehend perpetrators to face the law. The Secretary, Katsina Ala Local Government Area of Benue State, Dr. Inumbe Emmanuel, alleged that insecurity in Benue State was not only perpetrated by suspected herdsmen, but by politicians who arm thugs with dangerous weapons during electoral campaigns, but could not retrieve them after election, thereby posing serious security threat to the people.
This summit will be able to bring up issues that we can collectively harness and chart forward for addressing issues of this summit is meant for Chile land. Chile land has been plagued by insecurity. And how do we term it? Everybody should bring in his idea, we'll come together and look at it.
3 papers on security challenges in Nigeria and ways to stem it were presented during the peace summit that brought together Shitile Tiv communities residing in Benue, Taraba, and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, says it has destroyed heaps of illicit drugs weighing about 1.6 million kilograms seized across Lagos, Ogun, and Oyo states in what it described as the largest volume of seizures to be set ablaze at a time in the history of the agency. A statement by its Director Media and Advocacy, Femi Babafemi, says the destruction of the substances was witnessed by representatives of government officials, traditional rulers, clergymen, other security agencies, international partners, NGOs, and community leaders, amongst others. Some of the illicit drugs destroyed include 123 kilograms of cocaine, 1.4 million kilograms of cannabis, 148,000 kilograms of codeine syrup, 3,244.26 kilograms of tramadol, 1,544 kilograms of coochies, and 111 kilograms of methamphetamine. Speaking at the occasion, Chairman of the NDLEA, Brigadier General Muhammad Marwa, retired, said the exercise is a testament to the agency's steadfast commitment to tackling the scourge of drug trafficking in the country. He warned those involved in drug trafficking that the times have changed and there will be no safe haven for them in Nigeria. The Plateau State government is to facilitate the repairs of access roads to rural communities in Bokos local government area, as well as ensure the provision of telecommunication services for prompt response in case of attacks. Governor Caleb Mutfwang stated this when he visited Hurti communities, a community in Basa local government area of the state, to commiserate with the people of the April 2nd attack in the communities. Josiah Benson was in the governor's entourage and filed in this report.
The journey from Jos to Hurti community, which would have ordinarily taken us 20 minutes from Bokos, took us almost 2 hours. The situation is worsened with lack of telecommunication network connectivity. This, according to Governor Caleb Mutfwang, will be addressed. While sympathizing with the people, Governor Mutfwang observed that such attacks occurred during a particular period.
This attack is to keep you in poverty, to enslave your mind, to become slaves in your own land, and not liberate you to enjoy the prosperity that God has deposited in this land.
We assured the people that government was with them and appealed to them to put aside their differences and unite for the progress of their communities.
Let's not leave room for people to come in to divide us and to scatter us.
He noted that the president was equally worried about the attacks. The district head of Manguna, Alo Raymond, appealed to the government to assist in rebuilding their burnt homes, especially as the rainy season approaches. The governor was also at the gravesite where 29 victims were buried and assured that they will be immortalized. Governor Mutfwang was also at the St. Thomas the Apostolic Church, Bokos, where over 2,330 internet Different displaced persons are taking refuge and assured that everything is being done to enable them go back to their homes. Governor Mutfwang was at Tiop in Mangu local government area where the natives were driven away and their land occupied, with buildings springing up without consultations.
Let's take a census of who is living in this area. Let's know when they came, when they built their houses, who gave them permission to build the house. I want you to come as a team and do that census. We cannot afford to be lawless.
Governor Mutfwang said the state government will sanction any district head that allows people to settle in their district without proper documentation, noting that there is a procedure which should be done peacefully. He said if there is any need to build low-cost houses in these areas, then the state government will assist, stressing that the area is an urban center by designation and there are planning laws that must be complied with to forestall any possibility of crisis. From Jos, Josiah Budzun, Radio Nigeria.
The federal government says 3 states in the northeastern region of the country are currently participating in the second phase of the Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zone SAPZ program. The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Senator Abubakar Kyari, stated this in Abuja at a news briefing in reaction to allegations by some members of the National Assembly that the Northeast was excluded completely from the program. Senator Kyari, who explained that the program launched in 2022 was based on eligibility status, and said Gombe, Borno and Bauchi were among the states that met the criteria to participate in the project. He appealed to Taraba, Yobe and Adamawa states to reinvigorate their interest in the program and ensure they fulfill the eligibility criteria to participate in the second phase.
The overall policy directive of Mr. President is that all states must be brought on board. However, this will be in phases. The phase 2 of the program had already commenced in earnest. I have personally communicated to all the states that were not in phase 1, notifying them of the program.
The minister, while highlighting some federal government's interventions in the Northeast, said over 8,000 wheat farmers have benefited from subsidized inputs to boost dry season production in Gombe State, while 120 housing units and a farmer empowerment center were inaugurated to improve the living conditions for smallholder farmers in Adamawa State.
The agro-climatic resilience in semi-arid landscape AgriSal project, launched in collaborations with the World Bank, is restoring degraded land and enhancing climate resilience in northern Nigeria, including the Northeast. The project aims to restore 1 million hectares by the year 2028 and significantly improve watershed management.
Senator Kyari, who gave an assurance that the President Bola Tinubu administration was committed to ensuring that every state of the Federation benefited from the SAPZ program, said the Green Imperative project, which was recently signed by the current administration, will be implemented with planned agricultural mechanization service centers across the 774 local government areas of the country. It's now 24 minutes past 7 and you're listening to the news on the network service of Radio Nigeria. In the headlines this morning, messages of love echoes as Christians celebrate Palm Sunday. NDLEA destroys largest seizure of illicit substances. Still to come, Senior Secondary Education Commission to train over 6,000 teachers on artificial intelligence. And Nigerians mourn death of former Super Eagles coach. Plus, State House Diary, Sports, Spotlight, Cyberscope, Newspaper Headlines, and Weather Report. Please stay with us.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
We health, now we end the day. All of us get work to do on top am. Time don't reach make we for sabi, can't take care from the beginning. Shey you sabi say HIV, AIDS, syphilis and hepatitis na something we fit to dodge from, treat and even no be death sentence again sef. Knowledge na power. You fit to live correct better life wey go make sense, treat and get help when you need am. They fit to manage HIV with treatment, syphilis own na antibiotics, and for hepatitis na vaccine we go take knack am to fit escape from am. Regular testing na key for all of us to fit dey safe. Together we go fit stop the spread of HIV, AIDS, syphilis and hepatitis. Always dey go for testing to sabi your status and stay safe. Prevention, treatment na your hand e dey. Prevention na key. Together we go fit end this pain. Follow your doctor relate, run your test today. HIV, AIDS no be death sentence o. Enter we public health center wey near you pass today. This message na from the First Lady of the Federal Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, CON.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
The National Senior Secondary Education Commission, NSEC, is to train over 6,000 teachers on artificial intelligence AI across the country. The Executive Secretary of the Commission, Dr. Iyala Ajayi, disclosed this when he led other management members of the Commission on a courtesy visit to Governor Abdullahi Sule at Nasarawa State Governor's Lodge in Abuja. Dahiru Hassan was there.
National Senior Secondary Education Commission was established in 2021 and saddled with the responsibility of promoting capacity of teachers and school managers to advise federal government on best way of building senior secondary education, developing and implementing curriculum of senior secondary schools across the country, among others. Executive Secretary, National Senior Secondary Education Commission, Dr. Iyala Ajayi, explained that the Commission had since commenced training of 6,000 senior secondary school teachers across the country in artificial intelligence (AI), with Nasarawa State recording 130 participants.
We have been able to collaborate with relevant agencies and organizations to promote STEAM education and TVET. We have been able to commence the upgrading of 50 senior secondary schools in this country.
Acknowledging the commitment of the Executive Secretary, National Senior Secondary Education Commission towards promoting education, Governor Abdullahi Sule assured him of the state government's readiness to establish the board for secondary school education in Nasarawa State.
We are going to start getting into the works to ensure that Nasarawa State also establishes a board for secondary education. We have been concentrating on our primary education because it was a major problem for us in the state. The moment I was elected a governor and during our retreat of governors, when I saw where we belong as a state, that's when I said, no, we can't belong here.
Governor Sule informed his guests that his administration, since inception, has continued to place premium on education through substantial budgetary allocation to the education sector in the state to enhance effective and quality education. In Abuja, Dahiru Hassan, Radio Nigeria.
The National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, is to deepen its collaboration with relevant stakeholders to expand its impact towards empowering more corps members to be self-reliant. The NYSC Director General, Brigadier General Olakunle Nafiu, disclosed this at the 2025 strategic meeting with state officers held in Abuja. He said these partnerships will not only ensure that corps members are equipped with theoretical knowledge, but they will also provide exposure to real-world business environments, enabling them to hone their own entrepreneurial and leadership skills. General Nafiu said the scheme has formalized and operationalized these partnerships through frameworks such as the signing of Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) and the development of a comprehensive action plan by NYSC and SMEDAN. The Director, Skills Acquisition and Entrepreneurship Development Department, Mr. Kendiare Mukol, said NYSC's SAED program has always been the core of graduate youth empowerment and national integration, and over the years the scheme has continuously strived to enhance its relevance and impact. The theme of the meeting is Operationalizing Excellence, a new framework for core empowerment through policy innovation, efficiency, and sustainability. The Vice-Chancellor of the Ahmadu Bello University, ABU Zaria, Professor Ahmed Adamu, has called on Nigerians to adopt effective and sustainable use of natural resources to boost socio-economic development. Speaking at an event in Abuja in a lecture entitled Sustainable Development and Divine Mandate, the Role of Faith in Natural Resource Management, the Vice-Chancellor of ABU Zaria emphasized that both the Bible and the Quran encourage responsible stewardship of the earth's resources. Professor Adamu, who noted that Nigeria is blessed with abundant natural resources, including fertile land, minerals, and water, however, decried that poor management, waste, and exploitation have hindered the nation's development.
The question, is land ethics a spiritual issue? In our various scriptures, emphasize this ethical responsibility that we all have as human beings towards the land and natural environment. And I'll start from the quotation from the Quran, which portrays the earth as a divine trust, a manna given to human beings. And here in Quran chapter 35 verse 39 on stewardship, it says, "It is he who has made you successors, stewards upon the earth." Here it highlights the fact that human beings are appointed as caretakers of the earth.
Speaking at a special event, a veteran town planner, who was also the convener, Mr. Nathaniel Atebije, emphasized the urgent need for governments at all levels to implement urban and regional planning laws to safeguard Nigeria's future, and cautioned that unplanned development was unsustainable and illegal, urging governments to prioritize physical planning for both rural and urban settlements.
Anything that you do without being effectively backed by the law, it is illegal. The law that the federal government enacted, let federal government also enforce it so that we can have a sane environment that will grow our economy, that will grow the well-being of Nigerians.
Some stakeholders, including the national president, Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, Dr. Obunna Chime, who commended Mr. Atebije for the initiative, stressed that collective responsibility by all stakeholders to have a key role in promoting environmental consciousness among Nigerians will enhance sustainable development. Journalists in the country have been urged to give proper and accurate reportage on issues concerning the development of the nation. A caller from Bidda in Niger State, Alhaji Abdullahi Sharobutu, who gave the advice on Radio Link, a Radio Nigeria audience participatory program, also admonished the media to report facts at all times instead of reporting based on sentiments.
The media, as the source of the fourth estate of the world, that is supposed to be at least be doing the proper work of at least reportage, they have decided to at least level themselves to a very parochial mindset where they go in line with sentiments of religion, sentiments of ethnicity, and sentiments of region. And that's why what we advise them to do at this juncture is for them to be appropriate and accurate.
Another caller from Abuja, the nation's capital, Izuagbe Ibrahim, hailed the media for its role in decolonizing and demilitarizing the nation from colonial and military rulers.
I want to start by saying congratulations to NUJ and kudos to them. From inception, pre-colonial times, even though some of us were not there at that time, we have read through history to realize the role they played in the decolonization process. Even before our own eyes, we saw the role journalists played in the militarization of the Nigerian society and the enthronement of the democracy we enjoy today.
Mr. Izuagbe Ibrahim therefore urged journalists to remain steadfast in upholding the truth at all times. Also, another caller from Ebonyi State, Mr. Gabriel Ame, said the welfare of journalists in Nigeria was very poor, calling for more to be done to improve their standard of living and working conditions.
The work of journalists cannot be overemphasized. They are responsible for disseminating and communicating information across Nigeria. But for quite a long time, they have been neglected in terms of service, respect, payment. So many times they are arrested arbitrarily. The law enforcement agents treat them anyhow. I use this opportunity to call on Nigerian government to look into the plight of the journalists and give them the adequate protection due to them.
Mr. Ame therefore urged members of the society, particularly security agents, to treat journalists with respect in view of their importance in nation building. Widespread outrage is erupting across Africa and beyond after a viral video surfaced showing 3 abducted Burkinabe journalists, Gozamo Sanogo, Bokari Ouaba, and Luke Pagbeguem, in military fatigues or dressed in military clothes, allegedly requisitioned to cover anti-terror operations for the country's ruling junta. Sanogo and Ouaba, president and vice president of the Association du Journaliste du Burkina AJB, were abducted on March 24th from the Nobet Zongo Press Center, a symbol of press freedom. Pagbeguem, a BF1 reporter, was picked up the same day under the pretext of an interrogation tied to his reporting on the AJB Congress. Their disappearance followed strong criticism of growing state repression voiced during AJB's March 21 General Assembly. Now paraded in combat gear as part of a junta media operation, their forced militarization is being slammed as a grotesque attempt to silence dissent. In a swift blow to press independence, the government dissolved AJB the day after the arrests, falsely claiming the association lacked legal status, a move widely condemned by watchdogs. Since seizing power in 2022, Captain Ibrahim Traore regime has tightened its grip, abducting activists, banning foreign media like BBC, RFI and France 24, and cutting civil liberties.
Radio Nigeria, uplifting the people and uniting the nation.
1 year after the demise of the immediate past Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, Moniya Onu, his compatriots and those touched by his legacies have taken measures to immortalize him. At the ceremony in Abuja, they came under Moniya Foundation to consolidate the legacies of whom they described as political strategist, the tribalized individual and leader par excellence. Abubakar Bestu now reports.
The former Minister of Innovation, Science and Technology, first Governor of all Abia State and one-time National Chairman of the defunct All Nigeria People's Party, ANPP, died a year ago. However, to many Nigerians, his exceptional legacies left for generations unborn, particularly his sacrifices to ensure justice in the governance of Nigeria, should not be allowed to die with him. At the event in Abuja, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Dr. Tajuddin Abbas, described the late Dr. Onu as a committed public servant and a perfect gentleman who also left footprints in the academia. Dr. Abbas was represented by the Deputy Speaker, Mr. Benjamin Kalu.
Throughout his lifetime, he lived and maintained a life of consistency, trust, and principles. But Onu was never carried away by the familiar, of royalty, of power, and of office, but always speaking the truth to power.
A former governor of Anambra State and former Minister of Labor and Employment, Mr. Chris Ngige, said no time will be enough to talk about the personality of the late Dr. Onu, who was so highly principled and influenced federal presence to the southeast.
And we're bridge which every government uses to go on campaign in Nigeria, southeast. We did Enugu, Port Harcourt, Okigwe, Ibadan. We did Enugu and Isha, through Oka.
The governor of Ebonyi State, Mr. Francis Nwifuru, represented by the Deputy Governor, Patricia Obila, said the country will not forget the late Dr. Onu's contributions to the country's advancement in science and technology.
He transformed a lot of things from analog to digital. Many of us, or what we are enjoying today, is part of what he has done during his time.
The widow of the former minister, Mrs. Chinyere Onu, while appreciating the love shown to her late husband, said his love for the country made him turn down many offers abroad. The event was attended by politicians, dignitaries from all walks of life, including a former secretary to the government of the Federation, Senator Pius Anyim Pius. In Abuja, Abubakar Bestu, Radio Nigeria.
And next, the State House Diary.
Welcome to another edition of State House Diary. My name is Fatima Ongoko. On Monday last week, Nigeria and Sweden reaffirmed their commitment to strengthening bilateral ties through trade, sustainable development, gender equality, and cultural exchange. This was the outcome of a meeting between Nigeria's Vice President and Sweden's Crown Princess Victoria at the presidential villa in Abuja. Princess Victoria, while on a 3-day official visit aimed at boosting diplomatic and economic relations, the Vice President described the visit as a catalyst for deeper institutional partnerships, increased business collaboration, and enhanced cultural exchange between the two nations.
This moment opens the door to deeper institutional ties, stimulate business-to-business collaboration, and foster greater cultural exchange. We are particularly excited about opportunities in renewable energy, precision agriculture, healthcare innovation, and gender inclusion, area where Sweden has much to offer.
On the same day, the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, announced a 1 billion naira donation from the Renewed Hope Initiative to the National Cancer Fund. marking a bold step in the fight against cervical cancer. The fund will support both preventive measures and management tests aimed at reducing the burden of the disease across the country and emphasize the importance of building a healthy nation. The First Lady made the announcement during a courtesy visit from the National Task Force on Cervical Cancer Elimination, led by the Minister of State for Health, Dr. Isaac Salako.
Like you said, we have to do vaccination, detection, and also treatment. And a healthy nation is a wealthy nation. No matter what wealth you have as a nation, if majority of our population is sick, you are just the poorest.
On Tuesday last week, Vice President Kashim Shettima emphasized that Nigeria needs dedicated patriots, citizens, leaders, and institutions committed to building a federation that truly serves its people. Speaking at the 7th Annual Leadership Conference and Awards in Abuja, through his representative, Dr. Aliyu Modibo, he stated that the challenges facing Nigeria's federal system are less about structural flaws and more about the mismanagement of resources.
This administration, under the leadership of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is confronting this challenge directly. We have chosen the path of reform. It is bold, often difficult, but necessary.
On Thursday last week, the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, flagged off the distribution of professional kits to midwives in the Northeast under the Renewed Hope Initiative during an event held in Jalingo, Taraba State. She emphasized that no woman should die in childbirth and stressed the need for proper tools, infrastructure, and ongoing support for healthcare workers. The initiative supports the federal government's retraining of 120,000 frontline health workers. Over 59,000 have completed training so far, and RHI has provided 60,000 scrubs and crocs. She also praised the Ministry of Health, the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, and healthcare workers for their dedication to improving healthcare.
Agency, Dr. Moniya, and their entire workforce for their dedicated focus on improving healthcare delivery for our citizens as an important pillar of development in line with the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR.
On Friday last week, President Tinubu met with the U.S. State Department Senior Advisor for Africa, Mr. Massad Boulous, in Paris to discuss regional security with a focus on fostering lasting peace in Eastern DRC through collaboration with the international partners. They also explored ways to expand economic cooperation across Africa. Thank you for listening to this week's edition of State House Diary. I am Fatima Ongoko.
Thank you, Fatima. Now, President Bola Tinubu has condoned the family, friends, and associates of Nigerian football icon Christian Chukwu, who passed away on Saturday at the age of 74, leaving a void in the hearts of many football fans. The president joins the football community in mourning the loss of the legend, whose contributions to the beautiful game of football elevated Nigeria's status globally. He described him as a towering figure in Nigerian football who captained the Green Eagles to a historic 1980 Africa Cup of Nations victory and later coached the Super Eagles, which won a bronze medal at the 2004 Africa Cup of Nations under his leadership. In a statement, President Tinubu eulogizes Chukwu for a trailblazing career defined by passion, discipline, and commitment to national pride. Signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Mr. Bayo Ononuga, the statement says Christian Chukwu was more than a footballer and a coach. President Tinubu prays for the repose of the departed sportsman and comfort for his family, hoping they find solace in his enduring legacy. Meanwhile, Alamo Nantoye, who is standing by for our sports package, says more tributes are pouring in for Christian Chukwu, the first captain of the Super Eagles, who led Nigeria to win the Africa Cup of Nations in 1980.
Hello and welcome to sports. We begin on a rather sad note.
From the president, well done. You've done a good job, lad. And that's the gold medal. On to, and Chukwu takes the chance to the president.
My name is Mr. Christian Chukwu, former Rangers player, Rangers captain, national team player, national team captain, national team coach, under 17 coach. In 1980, we won the Nations Cup for Nigeria, and that was when the Green Eagle was changed to the Super Eagle.
The football community in the country and around the world was thrown into shock on Saturday over the passing of former national team captain and coach Christian Chukwu Okoro, aged 74. Chukwu, born on January 4, 1951, was a defender and captained the then Green Eagles to their first ever Africa Cup of Nations title in 1980. He played 54 times for the Green Eagles, scoring 5 times from 1974 to 1981, and later led the Super Eagles as head coach in the early 2000s. Teammate Segun Odegbami, who won the 1980 Africa Cup of Nations with Chukwu, in a tribute wrote, "My chairman has passed on." Another of his contemporary and teammate, Chief Felix Owolabi, described him as an extraordinary footballer and captain of the Green Eagles, whose leadership style was second to none.
I see Chukwu as an embodiment of talent, just like a soldier on the war front, a leader with zeal and determination, who will always want to strive and to support, give his colleagues all the necessary support to excel. And that was why, as a leader, he was given the title chairman. We're all working together and gave him all the respect that he deserved. For winning the cup for Nigeria for the very first time, a member of the Federal Republic took Chukwu. We call him chairman.
The late Enugu-born legend also led the Enugu Rangers FC team that won the Africa Cup Winners' Cup in 1977, and the chief executive officer of the Flying Antelopes, Amobi Ezeaku, described him as a football icon whose immeasurable contributions were enormous. Chukwu also served as assistant coach of the first team to win the FIFA World Cup trophy for Nigeria, the then Baby Eaglets that triumphed at the FIFA Under-16 World Cup in China in 1985. He was also the assistant coach of the team tagged the Golden Generation, the 1994 class of the Super Eagles that qualified Nigeria for the first ever FIFA World Cup finals, and later led the Super Eagles to a bronze medal at the 2004 Africa Cup of Nations in Tunisia. He also coached the Kenyan national team, the Harambee Stars, in 1998. In 2019, Chukwu suffered prostate cancer, which affected his leg, and was later flown abroad for treatment. He has a wife and 4 children. An Oriental derby featuring title holders Rangers and Heartland in Enugu headlines one of 9 match day 33 fixtures in the Nigeria Premier Football League scheduled for today. In Umuahia, Abia Warriors play host to neighbors Rivers United, who are second in the table with 55 points, while Akwa United welcome El Kanemi Warriors in Uyo as Kano Pillars clash with bottom side Lobby Stars with 25 points. Elsewhere, Nasarawa United battle Plateau United in a North Central derby. Leaders Remo Stars with 61 points take on Katsina United at Ikene. Ikorodu City confront Niger Tornadoes, while Kwara United lock ons with Bendel Insurance as Sunshine Stars sweat it out with Eimba. In the match decided on Friday, Bayelsa United thrashed Shooting Stars 3-0 in Yenegua to move to 8th spot with 45 points. President of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, Chief Tonobo Koko, has attributed the poor performance of the nation's contingent at the last 2024 Olympics in Paris to inadequate preparations and delay in release of funds. He stated this while briefing sports journalists at the 2025 Extraordinary Congress of the AFN in Yenegua, Bayelsa State.
What happened in Paris was a shame to Nigeria sports as a whole, not just athletics. A lot of things went wrong. I can tell you that we did not prepare well.
Chief Okowa said the AFN Electoral Congress to choose the leadership of the federation will hold on May 31 in Delta State, while zonal elections take place on May 16. Nigerian champions Rivers Supers on Saturday lost for the second time to Al Ittihad Alexandria of Egypt in the Kalahari Conference of the 2025 Basketball African League ongoing in Morocco. The Kingsmen bowed by 77 to 94 baskets. The first quarter finished 19-19, but the Egyptians won the second 30-10, while Hoopers won the third 27-26 and the fourth 21-19. Majok Macha Deng top scored with 18 points for Al Ittihad, while Madut Akek led Hoopers with 17 points. The Egyptians topped the Kalahari Conference with 5 points, having won all 5 games, while the Port Harcourt side are second with 5 points, having won 3 and lost 2. Hoopers had lost to their rivals by 80 to 100 points when they first met last Tuesday. Despite the result, Rivers Supers have already qualified for the playoffs final of the 2025 Basketball Africa League built for Pretoria, South Africa in June. The Kalahari Conference will end today as the Ogo Daudu coached Kingsmen play their last game against Stade Malien of Mali from 4 p.m., while Al Ittihad Alexandria take on Fat Union Sports the Rabat of Morocco from 7 p.m. I am Alambo. That's on you.
And next is the Spotlight, which is on the significance of the 6th African Regional Conference on Irrigation and Drainage held in Nigeria. It is written by Terhemen Oradwe, personal assistant on media and publicity to the Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation.
Tomorrow, delegates from across the world will converge on Abuja for the 6th African Regional Conference on Irrigation and Drainage. The conference is a convergence of global network of experts working together for sustainable agriculture and water management. Nigeria, being an active member, was granted the hosting right for the 6th edition of the conference. The conference seeks to showcase technological advancements and best practices from around the world with the aim of enabling attendees to learn and potentially adopt innovative approaches tailored towards achieving food security through irrigation farming. The event, with the theme Tackling Irrigation Development and Water Management Crisis in Africa, holds from tomorrow to Thursday and is expected to address pressing issues relating to irrigation and drainage, as well as foster sustainable agricultural practices. Other critical areas of focus are achieving food security and flood control across the African continent. Delegates will also make a holistic assessment of the progress made so far, share lessons, and explore innovative solutions to the global water challenges, with particular attention to the African region. It is salutary that this conference is coming to Nigeria at a time when the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, through the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation, under Engineer Professor Joseph Telemon Utef, is demonstrating commitment to boosting food production in the country through irrigation agriculture and ongoing massive construction of more irrigation projects and dams to scale up irrigation farming. Similarly, the conference will give Nigerians an opportunity to learn more advanced technology and innovations in irrigation farming from global experts to improve on the nation's agriculture and achieve food security. The administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has no doubt demonstrated unwavering commitment towards revolutionizing agriculture to achieve food security through irrigation farming. Under the supervision of the Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Utef, the administration has made giant strides through execution of water projects and irrigation projects across the country aimed at ending hunger and poverty, enhancing job creation, economic growth, and all-round development. These projects include the completion of Dadinkowa Dam and Bakalori Irrigation Scheme, among several others, while work will soon commence on the drip and micro irrigation projects in Ikoya, Ondo State, Dukulade, Kwara State, Makurudi in Benue State, Kebbi in Kebbi State, and Adamo irrigation project, among others. Also, preparations have been completed for the commencement of the Sustainable Power and Irrigation for Nigeria, SPIN, and project aimed at securing and maximizing the socio-economic value of stored water for irrigation farming and hydropower generation. It is also worthy to note that over 153,000 hectares of irrigable land have been developed at the river basins to achieve food sufficiency. These laudable efforts at boosting food production have led to a gradual and steady drop in the prices of food items in the country in recent months, and is expected to drop further as more policies and programs are being rolled out to increase food production. Nigerian delegates to the conference should therefore take the meeting seriously and see it as an opportunity to learn new techniques that will add value to irrigation farming and food production in Nigeria. The conference must not be seen as a jamboree or a mere gathering, but an opportunity to have a serious discussions where far-reaching decisions will be taken to address food shortage in Africa and reduce the impact of perennial flooding in Nigeria and many African countries being triggered by the impact of climate change.
That spotlight on the significance of the 6th African Regional Conference on Irrigation and Drainage held in Nigeria was written by Terhemen Oradwe and read by Ovie Kuje. And next is Cyberscope, bringing you the top trends shaping conversations across the social media. Kazima Kambi Sanusi, a 400-level mathematics student, is trending for taking on a 30-hour non-stop math lesson in a Build Guinness World Record attempt. Well, what can we say? Ever since Linda Bassi, many Nigerians are obsessed with world records. The digital space is glittering as Obi Cubana turns 50 in a true billionaire fashion. From lavish decor to celebrity sightings, Abuja is lit for the big celebration. Social media is flooded with birthday wishes and snapshots from the glamorous party. So, congratulations to Obi Kubana. Meanwhile, it was a Black Saturday in Borno State as 8 travelers died on the Maiduguri-Damboa road, while 11 others are severely injured.